part where we start talking about Dinklage?
Sure.
That-
What I mean, do you guys have me for a whole hour? Like that's amazing. Wow. How did you get an hour?
An
like,
hour?
I'm in my pajamas still.
I just asked for it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. What do you guys want to talk about with Dinklage? What do y'all want to talk about?
Tell me about the Dinklage arc, man. Like, how was there at any point before the launch where you guys were like, maybe this doesn't sound great? Or was there always conviction that, yeah, this sounds awesome, we want it to sound like this, he did exactly what we wanted him to?
We felt like there was definitely opportunity for improvement with the Ghost and the treatment of the Ghost as a character. I think that the Ghost is a really great metaphor for Destiny, and I'm going to get to this too, in this way where, you know, I don't totally know that we as Bungie understood the type of game as a unit, as a company, that Destiny could be. In the same way, I feel like a bunch of the early writing for the Ghost, you know, in vanilla, we didn't understand what the character of the Ghost could be, and you know, because we didn't understand that character so well, you know, we you know, the words don't always ring super well, and the performance didn't have the writing that it needed either. And I think when I look at the Taken King and our new writers and the story team, really committed, you know, time, effort to understanding more of what the Ghost's personality was going to be and what the personality of the characters in the world was going to be, and that, you know, that the Vanguard is basically watching through your Ghost was something they created for DLC 2, but that like simple hook lets like Eris and Cade and, you know, Zavala and the Ghost all talk, and let them all talk. It's in the background of what you're doing, and that's like that discovery of the characters in the universe and the, you know, how they interact with each other. And I think we had to, like, it's like totally an unacceptable thing that I'm about to say, but like we had to make a bunch of mistakes to like learn how we wanted to do it better.
So I think that's exactly.
I don't think that's unacceptable. I think that's a refreshingly honest response to, hey, we had never tried to do this before, so we got some of it wrong.
Yeah.
And we learned from that, and we fixed it.
And like
that's what I would like a game developer to say.
Yeah, I want.
Oh no, it was totally. We meant that.
You got to George Lucas it. This was always the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
It was always going to be like this. But like, you know, you also are in the position where you're actually making a game where those kind of changes can be made. I mean, like, that's another thing. Bungie, like, yes, there have been the multiplayer modes in Halo which have been bolstered by, you know, rebalancing and downloadable content for over a decade now. You know, like Halo 2 had DLC, and that was 11 years ago. But, you know, this is Bungie's first sort of living game. And, you know, I can imagine that there are a lot of stumbling blocks and really hard lessons that you need to learn when you're like, this is something that is going to continue, it's going to persist, and it's something that we can change dramatically over that lifespan. Like, there's a freedom to make mistakes like that you don't have with something that's just going to be done and finished, and then you work on a sequel. At the exact same time, though, I wonder if, like, have there ever been times where you started working on something in Destiny and said, like, oh, well, if it's not perfect now, we'll just fix it later. Like, maybe we don't need to make sure that it's just right now. Like, just okay is something we can test.
I think we have definitely made trade-offs like that. Like, it's better for us to learn. It's better for us to learn something than, like, ship and learn something, then sit on something and try to polish it till it's perfect when it might never get to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, there's a gambler's sort of mentality to that I really like. It's like a gunslinger mentality, but it also can totally bite you, just bite you in the ass if you make bad bets. Like there are definitely ways that you know, you can make a bad bet and it's gonna come back and haunt you.
What to you is a good bet? What to you is a thing that you're like this is a risk I'm willing to take. Something in the Taken King that is.
I don't. I mean, it's funny. I guess since I'm at my house in my pajamas and no one's here with me, I guess I can say whatever I want.
It's okay. You know what? No, nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah. So the entirety of the Taken King endgame is that risk. Like basically everything that happens in the second act, the Taken War. I remember, like championing the importance of taking that risk to the leadership team on the project, and I think that it was a big risk I think it's paying off. Like I think that when I'm seeing comments on the internet about people's excitement over, oh my gosh, there's so much to do, and I feel overwhelmed by the freedom that I have, and oh my gosh, like I'm getting legendaries from quests, like wow. All of those things happened because we were able to basically just take a big whack at a pretty risky endeavor, and the people who worked on it, we took that group and we like isolated them in an area of the studio, and I think that team just really, it was this team in this room we call Cabal, and that team just did an awesome job. Like I'm so happy for them, and I'm so happy for the players having a bunch of new content to experience after the level cap, and like new monsters to run around and fight. And if you're a player who doesn't like to group, is like averse to other players, you now have a bunch of like difficult single player activities that you can go do to get legendary marks and to get legendary weapons and armor, and there's a cool story and stuff there. And so we like basically constructed in an extremely short time window kind of a second game. Mm-hmm. And that was a giant risk, and it was awesome to see the team really rally behind that. And like the audio guys, for instance, it was like acceptable to me. Here's an example. Like it was totally acceptable to me if the missions that take place in the second act of the game only had like a line of dialogue for landing and a line of dialogue at the end of the mission. And I was like, that will be fine. I think that'll totally be good enough. And the audio guys and the story guys were like, this is completely like, they're like, no. And so those guys, like, they started looking at me like, that's great. Thank you for that constraint. And then like they went away and they basically wrote complete missions and scored it, and there's awesome music and there's great dialogue and the missions are characterful, and it's like those guys just took the ball and ran. And I think that for a bunch of elements of the Taken King project, the elements that worked best were teams taking the ball and running, and that really is just a testament to this super talented group of developers we have at Bungie.
Dude, I'm not complaining. I love the man. But does Nathan Fillion just like show up at the Bungie offices?
he's like stalking you at all times.
He's always there, being like, "What are you guys doing?"
Just like driving by, like real slow.
He's so busy. Like he like no joke. He's so busy. We like really had to hustle to get him scheduled for the game. Like because he's just been so busy, and we at one of the recording sessions, CJ Cowan, who is the story lead on the project, was like texting us from LA where they were doing the final session with Fillion, and the power went out.
Oh no.
And it's just like you're like oh my god, like, and everything's coming in so hot because of the aforementioned giant risk endgame experiment. And we're like, oh no. Like what if we don't? Like what if this doesn't work? What if we run out of time? Like there's this there's probably a good series of stories about the development of the Taken King someday that'll slip out one at a time. Fillion is awesome. He and Morla's the woman who plays Eris. Like I really have enjoyed experiencing the world through their voices in the Taken King, and those two have just done an awesome job. Like, and the writing team has really done a great job too.
All right, folks, thanks for watching. And if you want to see more great GR Plus videos, well, our YouTube page is right over here. And if you want to get your READ read on, the GR Plus website is right over there.